to Morph Anime. What's up, everybody? How are you doing today? This holiday season has been fantastic here at the Morph Anime house. I hope it's great in yours as well. Today, I'm going to be discussing a character that I know and love, and his name is Rob Lucci. We're going to be talking about the rise and fall of this amazing villain from the One Piece franchise. Yes! This character right here, this guy right here was set up to be an absolute badass. And yet now, currently on the Egghead Island arc, I feel like he has fallen so far down to the point where I don't think his character can be salvaged. I don't think he can rise to the peak he once did. And I think it's just downhill from here for the guy. I really do. I don't know if Oda can turn this around, but he is the GOAT. So maybe he can. But for right now, I currently believe that our guy Rob Lucci himself, he has fallen. Let's talk about how he got there. Let's get into it, people. Rob Lucci made his debut at Water 7. One of the greatest arcs in the entire series. Arguably one of the best arcs. The number one arc in the entire series. Connected to fucking Enies Lobby. Together making the current greatest saga in the series. According to this guy right here, me, I believe that the Water 7 saga, consisting of Water 7 and Enies Lobby, the whole thing is the best saga in the entire One Piece franchise. Yeah, I do believe so. I mean, really, you could only make an argument maybe for the Marineford saga, but you didn't have the Straw Hat crew there, so I just don't see your argument. I just can't see it. Rob Lucci shows up. He's got this talking bird. He doesn't even talk himself. The bird talks for him. It's a whole, puppet talking thing. He's throwing his voice, this whole thing. We don't know what's up with Hattori. He's a shipwright. We think maybe he's going to be part of the crew. Maybe he's going to be a character that doesn't talk. And he's got this wacky bird that, Oda introduces wacky characters all the time. Not a big deal. But out of nowhere, one of the biggest twists in the entire story, we find out no. He's the de facto leader of a group called CP9, and they're here to take Robin away from us, one of the greatest female characters in the entire story. And that's not good. And he's actually really strong. We knew that he was a strong shipwright, but we did not know that he was going to be the main villain of this saga. No, I had no idea. And in fact, with his little bird and all that, before he turned, I thought he kind of looked a little goofy. And he had a little bit of a goofy character that I really didn't care too much about. I kind of liked Polly more than him. And I was like, let's get Polly on the crew. I was wrong. We got Frankie. Better choice out of all of them, to be honest. Rob Lucci not only turns on fucking Iceberg. He was there for 5 years along with Kaku, Caulifla, and Bluno, all members of CP9, undercover, pretending to be shipwrights for years. Never broke their cover, but until Rob Lucci found his moment to get not only Robin, a wanted criminal, and they wanted the blueprints to Pluton. And so they took Frankie, or Cutty Flam, along with them. So they capture them, they beat down our main character Luffy, his right-hand man Zoro, and they bounce. They go, all right, we did it. Peace. They underestimate them like most villains in One Piece, but still, they show off their skills. At the time in Water 7, when Lucci became a fucking leopard man, we were like, whoa, look at this jack dude. I love what Rob Lucci looks like in his hybrid form. He's just jacked to the gills. Honestly, he's probably my favorite zone fruit user in the story right now currently, and at the time, he was easily the best zone up until we met Kaido, who can turn into a literal dragon. So it's kind of unfair there, but I still like his design better. I think it's cool. I think it's a little more sleek, and it's just all around badass. Either way, they head up to Water 7. They end up having the greatest one-on-one fights along with the rest of CP9 against the Straw Hat crew in a great one-on-ones. Every member of the crew got a fight. Every member of the crew got some shine. Every member of the crew was pushed to their absolute limits by the CP9, especially Luffy. I mean, Luffy's fight with Rob Lucci, it's annoying trying to say Luffy and Lucci, is probably one of Luffy's best fights in the entire series. I'm trying to think of one that even comes close to being as good as that battle. The problem is, every fight in the Water 7 Enies Lobby saga were top tier, so it's hard to compare. It's hard to compete with everything. Even Kaku, the fucking Giraffe Man versus Zoro was fantastic. So they all lose because they're the villains, of course, but they were this close to taking down our people. If Luffy didn't get that last little boost from Usopp showing up last minute, but who knows what would have happened. Luffy might not have become well, you know what? If he had died there, he might have went Gear 5 a lot earlier, so this is all your fault, Usopp. So Rob Lucci, he goes off after getting his ass handed to him, almost dies. He's knocked the fuck out. He's got some he's mortally wounded. He could have died if it wasn't for his loyal teammates in Bluno and the rest of CP9, not Spandam. Spandam, you know, he got his back broken by Robin and was sent to the hospital, and eventually sends the Marines after them, blaming the CP9 agents as the reason why they lost to the Straw Hat crew, and it's all bad. It's all bad news for CP9, but Bluno, being a smart man, uses his door-to-door teleportation ability, and he saves every member of the crew. They save Rob Lucci. They head off to a new island. There's a whole cover story about it. And this is not the fall that I'm talking about. Not at all. Rob Lucci is still on a nice path here. He fought our main character, did very well, and now he's on his redemption arc, I thought. And if you read these cover stories, you see that Rob Lucci gets healed by this town. This town eventually gets attacked by the Candy Pirates or some shit. And then Rob Lucci absolutely murders them. And then they are told, you gotta go. You're a little too brutal to be on this island. I'm sorry. I don't care if they were bad pirates, but y'all came in here and slaughtered them. So the crew bounces. You know, they go to their island of fucking misfit toys. The island where all the, what are they called? Orphans are sent to be trained to be CP9 agents, to be or Cypherpole agents, or be Marines and whatnot. The place that Mother Carmel was going to send Big Mom. And they go there and they, they beat some ass. They beat some living ass of the Marines. They kick their absolute shit in. They beat them all up. Every one of them that was there, I think a lot of them were at the Buster Call at Enies Lobby. They beat their ass. We see Spandam all tied up in a fucking hospital room. And they say that we will return. And then they sail off. And I thought, whoa, this is crazy. CP9 agents have gone rogue. They are now a pirate crew. My prediction was that they're going to come back after the time skip. And they're going to be their own pirate crew. The Lucci pirates, whatever you want to call them. The assassin pirates, the CP pirates, whatever. The Cypherpole pirates. The former members of the world government, right? No. That does not happen. The next time we see Kaku and Lucci, they are part of Cypherpole again. But not Cypherpole 9, CP0. The tippity-top. The tippity-top of the government. I would say that they are right underneath the admirals in authority. Like, they are right there. They are very close to being admiral level. Or should be. Or, I mean, real close. And I thought, well, fuck. You know, Lucci's got this new tight white suit along with his boy Kaku. They got masks on, and apparently if you wear a mask in CP0, it means you're the tippity top of CP0. You could be part of CP0 and not have masks. That's what happens to Bluno, Caulifla, Chapapa, and Kumadori. They all become part of CP0 along with Spandam. But they aren't the tippity top. Not like Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci shows up in multiple movies as a member of CP0. He shows up at Film Gold. And he fights fucking Sabo, of all people, in a little side story, which was very fun. Even though it was short-lived, it was fun. And Oda didn't have to add that in there. I mean, at least I'm not sure if it was Oda's decision, but the people putting the fucking movie together was like, we want Rob Lucci in this because he's important. And I was like, yeah, this is great. We're seeing him take on a member of the Revolutionary Army, Sabo, brother of Luffy. Let's go. Then he shows up again at Stampede and clashes with, was it Zoro or Sanji? Either way, he clashes with a wing of a pirate. Great. Great news. Doing great. I do believe he shows up for a hot second in Film Red, just telling them what's going on. I believe he's like, breaking it down for the Gorosei. He has a direct line to the Gorosei. Like, he gets to actually have a conversation with the Gorosei. He gets to talk shit to people like Akainu, the fleet admiral. That's how fucking important Rob Lucci was to the world government. They went and basically gave them back their jobs after they were told that they were the reason they lost at Enies Lobby. What? They were told by Spandam, who's a little sniveling little asshole, that Rob Lucci and them failed. And yet they forgave them because they were that good at their jobs, I assume. We don't know the whole story, and I hope that Oda eventually gives it to us, why they went back to the government that turned on them. Why would they do that? I still don't know. For the life of me, I do not understand why Rob Lucci, Kaku, and the rest of them would go back to the world government after what they did, after turning on them for losing one mission, after successfully completing God knows how many. Rob Lucci killed for them multiple times, probably hundreds of times, and he enjoyed it. He had the bloodlust of a fucking leopard, and he loved it. He did. We got a little mini backstory of him before the end of Enies Lobby, and it was kind of interesting, and I wanted a little bit more. I would read an entire light novel on Rob Lucci's backstory leading up to Enies Lobby. I bet you guys would too, because he's that interesting of a character. He didn't really get much of a backstory. He got more than Crocodile, and yet I care more for Crocodile right now because he hasn't been dragged through the dirt yet. So, this leads me to what's currently happening at Egghead Island. Actually, let's take one step back. We get to see Rob Lucci at Reverie, protecting Carcharlos and the rest of the fucking Celestial Dragons, saying, hey, we're trying to stop you guys from making a mistake. You attack the Celestial Dragons, big hubbub. Don't do that. He's there protecting these pieces of shit. And my thought at the time when the Reverie was happening and they were there being CP agents, like, hey guys, I'm Rob Lucci, I'm wearing white now. I was thinking, well, maybe they joined the government to get close to the Gorosei. Maybe they did this to get close to the Celestial Dragons, to be the boss of their former leader, Spandam, which they are. He's basically their little bitch boy, and that's great, because Spandam's a piece of shit. But maybe that was their plan, but it doesn't seem like it now. And then we jump over to Wano, and we see Rob Lucci go and capture Nico Robin. He calls out a call. He seems like the de facto leader of the group of CP0, and they're like, okay, I guess we've got to capture fucking Nico Robin. That led to absolutely nothing. So then we get to fucking Egghead Island, and this is where I get hyped. We find out that the fucking CP0 have been tasked to go to Egghead Island and to eliminate Vegapunk and collect all the scientific research and whatnot. And, figure out what's going on with the CP7, CP6, CP5, who've all disappeared. They show up. They have a Seraphim with them. They get there and almost immediately take down one of the Vegapunks, and they don't actually kill it, but they take down one of the Vegapunks, blowing their face off. Luffy shows up and he's like, let me crack my neck, let me take care of this. Luffy goes gear 5, fucking Lucci goes into an awakened leopard zone that looked badass, and we're like, oh shit, Rob Lucci's awakened now. We find out the rest of CP0 is that fucking the Reverie. They're okay. I was thinking maybe they were murdered at some point, but I was wrong. Rob Lucci goes toe-to-toe with Gear 5 Luffy, and that's not an easy feat. I mean, Gear 5 Luffy beat the shit out of Kaido, of all people. So you're telling me that Rob Lucci is right here, Kaido's here. That's what you're telling me. That he can handle himself. He gets beat down by Gear 5, but Gear 5 has a time limit, and he's got to get his ass out of there. So then, Lucci blows Sentomaru a hole into his chest and doesn't kill him. Doesn't kill him at all. Not in any way, shape, or form. He survives and keeps fighting and ends up fighting Kizaru not like a day later. Rob Lucci loses to Gear 5. Kaku tries to fight Zoro for the second time, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's see how Kaku does here. Maybe Kaku will get to fight Brook in a really competitive fight. No, even Kaku, awakened Kaku, gets knocked out by Stussy, who was secretly part of fucking Vegapunk's crew in some way, shape, or form, because she's a clone, which really hasn't led to much yet. So this is the beginning of the downfall that I was speaking about at the beginning of this video, about Rob Lucci. Yeah, he loses to Gear 5. Not a big deal. He's the main character. It's a big power jump. We did find out he's awakened. That's a big deal. All good things. Then they decide to join forces. They lock him up and they're like, hey, take the cuffs off. Me and Kaku can help you. You have the Seraphim to deal with. They're very strong. They're like as strong as us individually, each one of them. So you unlock our cuffs. Me and Kaku help you. We work together. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe they are going to turn on the world government if they're going to help the Straw Hat crew now. No. So they take care of them off-screen, which is fine because I really could care less. It would have been kind of cool to see Luffy and the former members of CP9 work together a little bit more than like 2 panels, using their 6 king pistol blah 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 finger pistol attack along with Luffy's attack. They did work together for like 2 panels, but it really didn't last long enough for me to give a shit. Kaku gets off-screened, so he can't even compete anymore. We get back to the current timeline, and Kizaru decides to come in and handle business. And he takes out Sentomaru finally. And he gets up anyway and helps Bonnie, so it's not a big deal. But Rob Lucci decides to turn on the Straw Hats, who didn't see it coming. And he goes to attack Vegapunk, but instead gets deflected by Zoro, and then he has an off-screen fight with Zoro that's currently happening, which I have a prediction that it's not going to be shown to us at all at this point, because we just don't have the time for it. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen. And Rob Lucci, at very best, can beat Zoro. Maybe. I don't see it. I don't see Oda, sacrificing Zoro's abilities here and now to somebody like Rob Lucci after he took out King. So I think that Rob Lucci is going to lose off-screen. Rob Lucci is going to, I don't know, be nothingness at this point. He is just a red shirt member of the government. He didn't even inform Kaku that he was going to turn on the Straw Hat crew. It just seems so haphazardly designed, this whole idea of even putting him on Egghead Island. It just seems like we're wasting his character just to put over how strong the Straw Hats have become since Enies Lobby. We already knew that. I mean, really. Comment down below, what do you think is next for Rob Lucci after he loses to Zoro? I don't imagine that he's going to show up and just help them fight Saturn at this point, or help them fight Kizaru, who's already been taken down by Gear 5 Luffy, which shows just how strong Gear 5 Luffy really is. It just makes me sad, because this guy, he was one of my favorite villains. He still is. He's in my top 10, for sure. He still is a classic. He's from one of the greatest arcs in the entire story. He has one of the best fights with the main character, Luffy. He's about to get taken down by Zoro, a wing of the pirates, a fight I would love to see, Oda. And yet, I think it's over. I think it's over for him. I think it's over for his squad. I mean, if you look at the little flashback we get of Vivi escaping the Reverie, his other members of CP0, Bluno, Chapapa, Kumadori, and Caulifla, they were told to capture Vivi. And somebody like Wapol munches his way through and grabs Vivi, and they're out, and they lose her. Honestly, I would not be surprised if the fucking Celestial Dragons, because Emu wanted Vivi, I would not be surprised if Celestial Dragons execute every member of the CP0 that failed there. Because they let somebody like Wapol get away with Vivi, which makes absolutely no sense. They're supposed to have the ability of Shave, where they can just like super speed their way over there and knock the dude out with one hit. They should be that strong at this point compared to somebody like Wapol. They should be able to catch Vivi better than just like, oh, I'm going to munch my way out of there. No, you're not going to Pac-Man your way out of here. You're supposed to be CP0. You're supposed to be the tippity top of the world government assassins, and yet you get taken out? Or you get fooled by this fucking has-been of a king of a nation who now is the king of an evil drum kingdom? No! Doesn't make any sense, Oda. Why would you put that in the story? Why couldn't you have done something to distract them where they were in the middle of a fight and then Wapol came in? Either way, the CP0 agents have failed time and time again. They can't capture Robin. They can't beat Luffy. They can't beat Zoro. They can't beat any member of this fucking Straw Hat crew at this point. It wouldn't even matter. Lucci will never be strong enough at this point to even deal with our main characters ever again. He doesn't have some secret plan to join the Straw Hat fleet or secretly be a pirate this whole time. No, he just rejoined the government because he likes murder. And, he probably wanted a little bit of revenge, but still. It just feels like such a waste of such a great character. Again, I would still read a light novel about Rob Lucci's past, but at this point, does it really matter? Does it matter? This is the rise and fall of Rob Lucci. A great character that we thought was going to matter in the time skip, but at this point, I don't think so. I think he's been used to put over the good guys. So he's done his job, I guess, for the main plot. But I think Oda just decided, hey, I got 1, 2, maybe 3 years left writing this story, and I don't have time to develop somebody like Rob Lucci. I don't have time to develop Bluno and the rest of them. No way, Jose. Sorry, Kaku, you're getting off-screened in this arc. You barely get to even fight in this arc. I don't even know why you were brought here. You get fooled by somebody like Stussy, who's barely been in the story at all. A character who is like, I'm a vampire. And everyone's like, great. What does this have to do with anything else? Don't forget to comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on Rob Lucci's future. I fingers crossed that somehow Oda has a secret plan, but it just doesn't seem like it would make sense at this point. I mean, he's flip-flopped at Egghead Island like 3 times. I think it's over. There's no way he's secretly still part of the squad and this is all part of the plan. It's just not. It's not going to happen. No. He's recognized that Luffy's an emperor. He's recognized that, and that's all that matters. I really hope we get to see him and Zoro go at it at the very least. Maybe Zoro will put him out of his misery. This is more Fanime. I'll talk to you later.